This is going to be me reiterating my point about what happened with the build up to the Nintendo Switch and how Nintendo fans were never really satisfied with it. So just like in Juice's video, his live stream, he talked about player essences and Super Metal Dave's and their anticipation and them adhering to the lists that I talked about, the list of what things that people wanted. And again, this is not a diss towards PE or Player Essence or Super Metal Dave. My gripe is with the audience. I'm trying to hold the audience to account because when these things were going on, they were agreeing with them, but now they just completely forgot about the lists and what people were expecting and how people were reacting. So, like I said, before Switch came out, in the throes of Wii U, people were very upset, about certain things when it came to Wii U. Nintendo fans were, lauding, bad third-party ports, late third-party ports. These are things that Nintendo fans were very upset about and didn't like and complained about. But when it came to the Switch, not so much. But we'll get into that in a second. But I want to reiterate how people were talking about the Switch and what it needed to have. This is before we knew it was the Switch. This is before the reveal. And there was lists, I want achievements, what did they call? I think Nintendo had their own term for it at the time, accomplishments or something like that. I want voice chat. I want, good power. I want third party on par, day and date. All these things that Nintendo fans were talking about and agreeing with. And there's nothing wrong with any of that stuff. I mean, that's all fine, especially at this point. We're talking 20 years after we had a console, more than that, a little bit more than 20 years after we had a console that came out that had online, capabilities, online services and stuff. So you would think at this point, a company like Nintendo, who was very innovative, would move and be ahead of a lot of this stuff. So these weren't, crazy things. These aren't crazy asks. So people wanted, more power. They wanted, at least PS4 power, whatnot, PS4 Pro maybe even for the Switch. They wanted, a standalone console. I don't think anybody's looking for hybrid. I think the rumors were coming about it being a hybrid, but nobody was really sure. They didn't really care about that. They just wanted to make sure it was a powerful console. They got third-party games. And so when we got what we got, the reveal happened, a lot of people had confused faces. Player S's had, he was confused and he was kind of shocked and, he didn't really care for what was happening as far as the Switch goes at that time. And Super Metal Dave as well, because his channel mostly talks about, it's mostly rumors and, the secret dealings going on behind that's going to make the Switch, super powerful at some point. And none of that has come to pass. And again, this is no ill will towards him. This is me thinking about the audience and why hasn't the audience held him to account at this point? Because it seems like that's all he talks about, is, the secret power that's going to come, something's going to happen and that makes the Switch acceptable to him, So again, like I said, I knew from the beginning. I said when I saw this thing, it's going to be a huge success. A few months later, I said it was going to outsell the Wii. That was me. So I was always satisfied with it. I liked the idea of the hybrid nature of it. I like the tech and the Joy-Cons. I thought all that stuff was cool, as you can see going back to my channel. But the whole meme came from, especially Metal Dave, where it was called Salt Face or Dirt Face or some kind of Twitter handle or something, where they had him with some kind of funny face on. It was hilarious. But he would come up with these rumors, and he has these what do you call them? He has these sources that know this and know that, and absolutely none of it has come true to this point. So we're talking 4 years of rumor talk about what's coming, and I'm pretty sure not one thing he has said has come true. But there's no consequences. I've talked about this a million times. There's no consequences, and it's infuriating and frustrating for people like myself, who've been on YouTube for a long time, and I've speculated on things that has come to pass. Not a whole lot, but I don't get a whole lot of credit for it, but that's fine. But for somebody who's been completely wrong all the time, there is no consequences. There's no consequences for being wrong. Again, this is not a personal thing against him. This is about what he does with his channel and how the audience does not hold people to account. So, talking about rumors, everybody focuses on the 1 or 2 or 3 things that this rumor person got right. And I'm not talking about Dave now. I'm talking about just rumor people in general. Oh, he's got this right. He's got that right. But if you look at the rights, make a list of what he got right and a list of what he or she got wrong. The list of what wrong or didn't happen is way longer than their list of rights. But yet, these YouTubers, they'll focus on the what he got right part, the 3 or 4 things they got right. Well, he's gotten this right, he's gotten right, but they won't say about the other list, the other side of the what they call T chart, the other side of the T chart, where there's 30 things they got wrong or things that never happened. So that's what I find frustrating and infuriating. And again, this is about the audience. This is about the people watching. Where are your principles? Like, where do you just sway with? Do you just want good news so much that you don't mind people lying to you? Like, I don't understand that mentality. I really don't. So, yeah, talking about leakers and Super Metal Dave Juice, he just joined. Yeah, so again, this is not ill will towards any of those dudes. I'm fine with both of them as far as I know. Maybe not after this. I don't know, because people are very sensitive. But again, like I said, this is not any kind of personal attack. It's just me pointing out, what I'm seeing. And it's just like, do we only care about fake news? Do we not care about what? So these people, Super Metal Dave specifically, and maybe some other guys, were talking about the Switch, and before it came out, they were talking about the dock. The dock is going to be a supplemental, basically a supplemental power device. So you put the Switch in the dock, it makes the Switch more powerful, and that's what everybody was running with because they were never happy with the Switch's power from day one. If you see the reveals, how they reacted to it, they were never happy with it. So that's why. And it's not just them. It is also the fan base. And I'll tell you why I feel it's the fan base as well. It's because they run and jump and dive and skip to these rumor videos like rabid crackheads. Like, they have to hear, and they just know they're being, at some point you got to know it's just like, this is not happening. But you're being lied to over and over again. So at some point you got to think, man, why am I not, holding these people to account? Why am I still just loving and eating them stuff up? Because you also were not happy with the power of the Switch. Now, if that's the case, that's fine. But I'm just pointing it out. Like, you weren't happy with it. And so that's why, again, all these people run, skip, jump, dive to these rumor videos about more power coming, the Switch Pro and all that coming, because they were never happy with it. They were never happy with the Switch to begin with. And here I am, the so-called Nintendo, I'm on the hate side now. Here I am, I was always happy with the power of the Switch. My thing was that I wanted a little bit of GameCube and a little bit of Wii. I wanted some day and date third-party games, bigger ones. But what I wanted mostly was third-party exclusive stuff. So stuff, because of the power of the Switch, because it's not as powerful as everything else, I was hoping and expecting that we get more stuff like, Rabbids and stuff like Mario plus Rabbids, more things like that, to where, okay, this is going to make this system unique to everybody else, This is going to give it its identity, where you have these, like I said, you have these third-party exclusive games because of they can't bring such and such game over because Switch isn't strong enough, or they'd have to make too many compromises. So they would make their own version of that game, or they make, something else. That's what excited me more. So I was expecting to see more of that, and we really haven't gotten that. What we've gotten mostly at this point is, Xbox 360, PS3 games, and Wii U ports that would usually be this types of games that I'm talking about, which would be third-party exclusive stuff that gives the console its identity. So that is my biggest gripe. It's not that I want more games. It has games. The Switch has games, but it just have the games I care about. Like I'd rather play a lot of these games on my other console, because why buy a more expensive, late and shoddier version of the game when every Nintendo fan, like I said, complained about that on Wii U. Oh man, these third parties is tripping, it's giving us these shoddy late ports. But you're fine with it now on the Switch because the Switch is selling. Can we just be honest with ourselves? That's all I'm asking. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to continue the way I am here. I'm going to be honest. Can we all be honest with ourselves and say, yes, it's because the Switch is selling well. We now accept these things we didn't accept on Wii U. Can we just be honest about that, And yes, the Switch is getting more games over the Wii U. We know that. But it's not getting anything special. It's not getting enough special. It's not getting enough special that it should be getting based on the factors, which is no handheld to contend with, no handheld games being made to take away resources. So Nintendo has one console. This is for the first time since 1989. Nintendo has one console that they're making games for. That's it. And so when they've had two consoles all this time, they've made stellar games for both of those consoles. Can we understand that concept? Can we please understand that concept? Okay? So now that we have this situation, I feel like we should be getting more. But like I said, a certain contingent of the fan base was never, on board with the Switch's power. You can go back. I have a video saying respect the power of the Nintendo Switch. I was on board from the beginning. So, but I'm in the outs. This is how twisted up and crazy things can be in this community. So that's my take on it, and I'll leave it at that.